a land where dreams are spun under bright lights, there exists a parallel narrative that often remains concealed. Today we're peeling back the layers of the land of the free to uncover the cracks that have been papered over for too long. Buckle up because we're about to explore the untold story, the why behind the headlines. Welcome to a journey that's not afraid to ask the tough question, why is the US broken? Number 1. Safety concerns. The dark side of bright lights. The land of opportunity? More like the land of lock your doors twice before bed. Safety concerns have found a cozy spot in the American conversation. While the stars may be bright at night, the crime rate can be brighter. From pickpocketing to more serious offenses, the streets might have you feeling more like a character in a detective novel than a hero of your own story. According to the World Health Organization, the United States has one of the highest homicide rates among developed countries, with 5.35 deaths per 100,000 population. This is more than 4 times the global average of 1.23, and it's not just murders, but mass shootings, robberies, assaults, and other violent crimes that happen every day in the United States. Death every day, or even death every 12 minutes. According to SafeWise study, gun violence and shootings rank 3rd among respondents' top-of-the-mind worries. According to the FBI, killings rose by about 40% in 2022 compared to the previous year, and 78% of all homicides involved a firearm of some form. The US isn't just Hollywood glam and Broadway glitz, it's also a hotspot for drug-related concerns. The battle against substance abuse is like a movie with a plot twist you didn't see coming. One such chapter in this story is Skid Row, the largest homeless camp and most dangerous, where you might get stabbed out of nowhere. From opioids to other illicit substances, you might find yourself surrounded by a cast of characters you'd rather not meet. Number 2. Cost of living in the shadows of liberty. Although the US spends around 18% of its GDP on healthcare, it has one of the most expensive and ineffective systems in the world. As a result, it does poorly on key health metrics, including life expectancy, infant mortality, maternal mortality, obesity, and mental health. Trust me, you don't want to break your leg just to break your bank account. From sky-high insurance premiums to those jaw-dropping medical bills, it's a system that can have you reaching for a doctor and then for some headache pills. With over 28 million individuals without insurance and millions more with inadequate coverage who must pay exorbitant deductibles, co-payments, and premiums, the US also has one of the most unjust and inaccessible healthcare systems. Picture this: you graduate, toss your cap in the air, and then realize your cap's worth more than your bank balance. Student loans, my friends. With debt lingering like a clingy ex, it's time to ask yourself, do you want that degree or do you want that debt-free life? With an average annual expenditure of $15,000 a student, the US also has one of the most expensive and uneven educational systems in the world. Despite this, many educational outcomes, including literacy, numeracy, science, and college completion, are below average. The education system in the US is also among the most uneven and inaccessible, with vast gaps in financing, quality, and opportunity between public and private schools, as well as between wealthy and underprivileged communities. Number 3. Unemployment, the economic countdown. With more and more homeless and unemployed people, the mighty dollar is falling with each passing day. The US is experiencing a serious labor shortage in numerous fields, including education, healthcare, transportation, policing, and corrections, while having a sizable population of over 330 million people. The aging workforce, low birth rates, immigration limitations, skill gaps, and pandemic-related disruptions are a few causes of this. Employers and employees have both faced difficulties as a result of the labor shortage, including decreased productivity, higher wages, longer hours, fewer services, and higher stress levels. However, a lot of Americans still struggle with unemployment, particularly those who have lost their jobs to COVID-19, outsourcing, or automation. In November 2022, the unemployment rate in the US was 4.2%, but for particular demographics such as Black 6.7%, Hispanic 5.4%, and young 9.6% workers, it was significantly higher. At 61.8%, the US has one of the lowest labor force participation rates among developed nations, indicating that a large number of people have given up seeking a job or are otherwise ineligible for employment. The echoes of the 2008 financial crisis still reverberate, a reminder that even the most powerful economy is not immune to seismic shocks. And let's not forget the elephant in the room, a national debt that could rival even the tallest of skyscrapers. As the lines blur between too big to fail and too interconnected to predict, one cannot help but wonder if the American dream has become a privilege accessible only to the fortunate few. I don't know about the American dream, but a subscribe to the channel now will surely help fulfill my dreams. Number 4. Climate change, dark age of disasters. From sea to shining sea, and sometimes the sea's on fire, the environment's taken a bit of a hit here, folks. From melting ice caps, to wildfires that can turn a forest into a campfire, it's a bit like living on a planet-sized game of Jenga. If you're hoping for fresh, clean air and clean water, you might want to bring your own filter. The United States is one of the largest contributors to climate change, as it is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world after China. The United States is also one of the most vulnerable countries to the effects of climate change due to its large population, long coastline, and diverse geography. According to the US Global Change Research Program report, climate change could cost the US economy hundreds of billions of dollars a year by the end of this century and reduce GDP by up to 10%. Climate change could also pose serious risks to national security, public health, food security, water security, and human rights in the United States and around the world. In 2021 alone, the US witnessed 20 weather-related and climate disasters costing at least $1 billion, shattering the previous record of 16 established in 2017 and 2011. More than 600 people died as a result of these disasters, which cost more than $145 billion in losses. The US is also among the top 10 nations with the greatest overall risk of natural catastrophes, including risks from landslides, tsunamis, tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, and volcanoes. Number 5. Political and social unrest beyond the land of dreams. Politics. The land of impassioned debate and eyebrow-raising Twitter threads. The US is a nation divided, with more drama than a reality TV show. While democracy is a beautiful symphony, sometimes it feels like someone replaced the sheet music with a Game of Thrones script. So if you would rather not have politics interrupt your dinner conversations, you might want to grab your passport instead. Political polarization is another major factor contributing to the unrest in the United States. The two major political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, have become increasingly divided in recent years. This division has made it difficult to pass any major legislation, and it's created a climate of gridlock and uncertainty. Republicans and Democrats have stark ideological disagreements on a number of subjects, including healthcare, immigration, climate change, abortion, gun control, and foreign policy, making the US a severely divided country. In addition to deadlock and dysfunction in the government, the polarization of politics has made Americans more hostile, distrustful, and violent. In recent years, the US has also seen a number of instances of social unrest, including the Black Lives Matter demonstrations against racial injustice and police brutality after the saddening event of George Floyd's death. Other examples include the riot at the Capitol by supporters of the late President Donald Trump and the anti-vaccine and anti-lockdown protests during the COVID-19 pandemic. The underlying issues of racism, inequality, extremism, and disinformation in the US society have been made clear by these occurrences. I want to stress that this video is not intended to deter anyone from residing in the United States before we finish. It's crucial to have an open talk instead, as well as to be aware of the ongoing problems that demand our attention. Only by recognizing these difficulties can we take steps to ensure a better future for all. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.